little bit out in front, but in the end, we look at the pitch mix here with Bybee. You can see there he's got about 95 pitches, and like all starting pitchers do nowadays. But as you mentioned, Ben, the four-seam fastball batting average against there, 264, is not as good as it has been. And that could, again, whether it's location or sequencing, I'm not really sure what the difference maker is. And I'm quite sure that he really doesn't know either, because he hasn't been able to make too many adjustments on it and get back to where he's more successful with that particular pitch.
There's one of those fastballs that we saw on the breakdown. StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. Strike one pitch to Jordan Westburg after the long hold by Bybee. And it tails down and away.
I thought what Mansolino said earlier was important. I'm glad you brought that up, because I thought he explained it so well about what young hitters have to do. They have to be able to prove they can hit pitches in the strike zone before the pitchers at the big league level will start pitching around them and maybe start getting a little bit more behind and not giving them pitches to hit early in the count. So one has to come before the other, and Jackson Holliday's trying to take advantage of that. One part is, if they give me something to hit early, I'm going to go ahead and give it a swing.
Bybee concerned about the aggressiveness of the Orioles here. After another long hold, Holliday's got 9 stolen bases on the season. Westburg fouls it back, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
A little bit of a shadow situation here with Bybee being in the shade, Westburg standing in the sun a little bit there, so that could be a little bit of a hindrance for the hitters here early on.
That's fouled back under our feet. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes on Westburg. Had a couple of base hits yesterday. O's are in the afterglow of a series finale victory against the Rays. They come in 10 games under the 500 mark at 44-54. This is a matchup, Dave, of 2 teams that went to the postseason last year. That smoke to the gap in left center field, down for a base hit. Quan will hustle over, cut it off quickly, and throw back to second. Well, he got to the gap in a hurry. That ball was rifled at 109 miles an hour off the bat of Jordan Westburg. And the first 2 are on with sharp base hits.
Yeah, absolutely torched on that. You see Henderson here on the pitch results, and I think in the end, most hitters are going to be this way if in fact that you get pitches down the middle of the plate there. And against Bybee, he's had the success when Bybee's thrown some strikes. He's hit the ball hard.
And you know what? If you look at that spray chart, if there was a pitch outside the zone, Gunnar Henderson hasn't gone after it.
Right.
If it's over the plate, he's hunting it, and he's been able to drive it. If it's away and he's baited by Bybee, he's spitting on it.
Yeah, we saw the 1 home run where he went the other way, so even if Bybee made a pretty good pitch away to him, Gunnar threw it over to left center field wall for a home run without trying to pull it. But yeah, taking the pitches that are not strikes are really important, especially at this level.
It's been a big month and a half for Henderson, and he'll drive home the game's first run. Streaking around third, Holliday will truck to the plate. There will be no throw from Martinez. It's an RBI single for Gunnar Henderson, and it's 1-0 after the Orioles string together 3 consecutive base hits.
Sometimes it's not as hard how hard you hit it. Of course, we saw Westburg scorch that line drive for a base hit, and then Henderson just hits about a 5 or 6 hopper right up the middle, and it gets through for the base hit to score the first run.
No chance for Schneemann or Rocchio, and no chance to get Holliday, who scores easily, cruising in from second. On the corners, nobody out. Here's Ryan O'Hearn. Played up in the middle by the shortstop, Brian Rocchio. Dozen homers, 36 driven in. His 12th yesterday in the scorching heat in Tampa. It's only about a 20-degree difference between one game and the next.
Actually, what I mentioned earlier to you about an hour and a half ago, I'm like, am I going to need some type of sweatshirt or something? This is crazy.
It's July 21st, and you're thinking about extra threads.
I was really happy O'Hearn went to the All-Star game. I was so excited for him.
How great is that? I mean, he is still bubbly about it. Popped him up. Short left center field. Back goes Rocchio. Quan coming in. The shortstop taking charge. And no chance for Westburg to do anything with it away from third base. There's one down. Does that linger with a player? Guys that you've interacted with, can it carry from not only the All-Star break and the build-up to get there, but then kind of the lingering effects?
I think guys are going to handle it differently, and everybody will, of course. But because in the end, that's over. Even though it was a great, honor, he's really, he's playing for, his job next year. He wants to put numbers up on the board. So, in the end, after he had a really good first half, it's about what have you done for me lately? So he's got to go out and the rest of July and August and September continue to do the things he's capable of doing. You can't sit back and rest on your laurels there because, you hit 197 the rest of the way, and then you basically threw away your statistics for the first half.
Laureano comes up empty. Strike one on Ramon, who returns to the lineup after being ejected by James Hoyt for the second time this year. That was in yesterday's tilt. Did get a couple of at-bats yesterday at the start of the game. He was frustrated with the strikeout. Henderson takes off. Laureano cuts through it on a bounce, not nearly in time. Naylor's throw late as Gunnar gets his 13th stolen base of the year.
I was going to say right before he took off I wasn't sure whether they would send him or not because you kind of have Bobby on the ropes a little bit. You can see there, he got a good jump, makes a good slide, and beats the throw fairly easily. But you sure don't want to get thrown out there and kind of knock down the inning a little bit. And here, Laureano, of course, before Gunnar went to second, you still had an opportunity to get another run in without the benefit of a base hit. But now, of course, he's even in a better situation.
And the Guardians are thinking along the same lines. Keep this a one-run difference. They bring the infield in. Laureano fouls it. Back over the screen. This is such a trend now in the game, bringing the infield in. Here we are in the top of the first inning. And an opponent is playing for one run.
I just always liked the fact that as a pitcher, I wanted them to beat me. I hated conceding a run early because it's early. It's like, yeah, well, what if we don't score anymore? So I always felt as a pitcher, bring the infield in, and if they hit it right at somebody, we save a run. If they hit it past somebody, well, you're going to give them the run anyway. So I always felt it put a little bit more pressure on the hitter just being in, even though if they hit the ball hard somewhere, they have a better chance of getting a hit.
2 in scoring position for the Birds here in the first. And Laureano shoots it right back up the middle. Base hit into center field. Westberg touches the plate. Henderson coming down the line. A 2-run base hit by Ramon Laureano with the infield drawn in. He bounds it through. Plating a pair, and it's 3-0 here in the first.
And, of course, the difference maker there is Gunnar stealing second because if it's first and third still, they're playing double play depth. That could have been a double play ball. So you see here, Laureano stays right down on it, hits the ball hard. That was his job. Hit the ball hard somewhere. You can't necessarily always control exactly where it goes, but he just stayed up the middle on it, and with the shortstop being in, that was able to get by him easily. So scores 2 runs and gets the Birds 2 more runs there to start off with a 3-0 lead.
4 of the first 5 have collected base hits within the first 19 pitches off of Tanner Bybee. And it's 3-0. Carl Willis, the longtime pitching coach here in Cleveland, visiting with the ultra-competitive Tanner Bybee. So Holiday with a line drive base hit to lead it off. Westberg rips one into left center. Henderson makes it 1-0 with his RBI single. And then Ramon Laureano, right after Henderson swipes the bag, drives home a pair. 6th hitter of the first, Colton Cowser. Laureano juking away from first. Cowser hits it on 2 hops. Schneemann a long throw to get 1. Return to first, out of the reach of Santana. And Colton is safely aboard at first base. And without the double play, extending the inning. And that tag just for good measure. Just making sure Cowser didn't take a juke, turn the wrong way over at first base.
You see Laureano trying to stay on the outside part there so he can kind of stay in the lane a little bit to not give the shortstop a clear angle to throw the ball to first base. I think Cowser was going to beat it out anyway, but that's what you want to do, kind of get your base path. As a runner, you get to make your own base path based on where you start, and he did a nice job staying on the outside part.
Cowser takes off on the first move and gets to second uncontested. He's 5 for 5 in stolen bases. Well, it looks like they want to run on Josh Naylor, or Bo Naylor. Josh's brother is now in Arizona. Bo behind the plate. O's threatening again. And O'Neill looks at a fastball called strike. Chatting with Stephen Vogt, second-year manager of Cleveland. Ask about, the differences. If you change a manager, does a team take on a different identity? The thing that he mentioned right away today, they're more aggressive on the bases. Tony's got them in motion way more. Sweeper down and away, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on O'Neill. Towards third. Ramirez, corner to corner, just in time to beat O'Neill to get the out and retire the side. But what a start for the O's to get in flight tonight. Singling their way around the bases. Henderson made it 1-0. Laureano makes it 3-zip.